see you gather before me. Hungry, terrified, clutching your babes to your breast. Emperor Emir has marched his legions into our lands, laid siege to every fortress from here to the Blue Mountains. Rabid and ravenous, he bites and bites away. Men of the North, you stand at the precipice. Your kings have failed you, so now you turn to the gods. And yet you do not plead. You do not kneel to dust your heads with ash. Instead you wail, why have the gods forsaken us? We must look into the trials we failed long ago. In a time past, our world intertwined with another through an upheaval scholars call the conjunction of the spheres. The gods allowed unholy forces to slip into our domain. The offspring of that cataclysm was the nefarious force called magic. Yet we did not banish it, instead studying the vile arcane for our own power and wealth. And the monsters at our door, the unholy relics of this conjunction. The trolls, the corpse eaters, the werewolves. Did we raise our swords against them? Or have we laid this burden on others? On so-called witches. Stray children taught the ways of foul sorcery, their bodies mutated through blasphemous ritual. Sent to fight monsters, though they could not distinguish good from evil. The flicker of humanity, long extinguished within them. Yes, their numbers have dwindled through the years, but a few still roam our lands, offering their bloody work for coin. To this day, they shame us with their very existence. The North bleeds, flogged by war. The battles are the gods' whip, chastisement for our sins. And let us not forget the terrors, the scourges from beyond our world. The wild hunt rides the sky with every full moon. The Dark Raiders abduct our children into lands unknown. Some say they herald a second conjunction. Can we chart a course back into the light? Will we find the strength to banish the mages from our kingdoms? Unite around the warmth of the eternal fire. Nigh is the time of the sword and axe. None will fight this war in our stead. Nigh is the time of madness and disdain.
Hello everyone. What we will be doing today is continuing our work on the Blood and Wine expansion. I will be continuing the main quest at Corvo Bianco, which is where I left behind. I think it should be called Corvo Rosso because red wine is better than white wine. So, with that further ado, let's go. And I believe I'm not actually in Toussaint right now, so...
Geralt had to face Eredin, but could only hope to beat him with the help of friends.
So we'll have to see a loading screen again very shortly because I'm going to have to fast travel to Toussaint. I might actually be in Toussaint though, because I think I did a side quest in Blood and Wine off stream. Turn and face the strange or something like that. It's the quest that gives you mutations, which I already had, so it's not... Nothing really came of it. And... no, I'm in Novigrad. So, let's go into our quest journal and select the Beast of Toussaint. Like, look at all the secondary quests I have in... It's actually, Toussaint, like, Blood and Wine has a lot more content than Hearts of Stone, and this is never more evident than just look at the world. It's about as big as Velen and has about as much content as Velen does. So, Let's head out. Find a fast travel marker.
Another drifter in from Temeria.
Corvo Bianco is north of Beauclair, so let's go to the Cooper's Gate of Beauclair.
Geralt had to face Eredin, but could only hope to beat him with the help of friends. The Wild Hunt could be defeated with exceptionally powerful magic, so Triss and Yen set out to reconvene the Lodge of Sorceresses. Avallac'h, too, began to lay plans of his own.
Alright. We have to go this way.
Life in Beauclair can be quite dear.
If you've one jug of wine and one friend,
Don't crowd around.
drink the jug.
Around here, it's wine, wine, and more wine. With me,
Alright, so before we head up there, like, I've done this before. This is a new game plus, so I know what I'm heading into. So what I am going to do, I am going to meditate and start at night again. We're going to go take our potions here. We're going to do the Succubus decoction, Ancient Leshen decoction, and I'm going to go with Water Hag because I'm going to use Swallow to keep and food to keep myself at full health. So instead of giving the health increase, I'm going to take these three. And eventually I'm going to want to use Black Blood for the fight that's coming up, because what Black Blood does is it makes it so anytime a vampire is near you, it takes damage, and I will have to fight a vampire very shortly. And that also is why we need to set our bombs up right. So vampires are weak to moon dust. I believe vampires are weak to moon dust, and I'm just gonna do do northern wind. We're going to set that to moon dust, because we are going to have to fight a Bruxa with the type of vampire. Somewhere between a higher vampire and something like a Katakan or an Akimara. Also, we are going to use vampire oil on that blade, and we're not. Let's put Hangman's Venom on that one. And we're going to select the bomb. All right. What the hell is that? Is that a peacock? That is a peacock.
Damn it, Killer must still be here. Busted ribs, blood from the ears. Took a solid hit.
Alright.
Throat torn open by man-like jaws. Man-like, except for long fangs. Massacred by a vampire. Not an Ekimara, though, or a Fletter. Bruxa, gotta be. Killed with a single blow.
That's exactly what it is. And let's look at the Bruxa in the bestiary. Alright. Vampires. Arcanes. Bruxa. Vampire oil. Black blood. Yrden. And moon dust.
Black blood and moon dust. Could be lifesavers. In the cellar. Gotta be.
Alright, let's loot this guy here.
Footprints. Small, bare feet. Lead deeper into the cellar. Took a lot of strength to batter this down. Used this to batter down the grate.
Yeah, use the guy to batter down the grate. That's that is definitely encouraging.
You. Saw you at the inn. I know what you are. Don't know why you killed these people, though. Clearly wasn't for their blood. We don't have to fight.
You are wrong.
I cannot let you leave.
Men to get to the body. What was she doing at the table, though?
Alright, so the Bruxa is killed. And let's go look at the body.
Stinks. Waterlogged. Both hands amputated. Body was quartered just as I thought. Laid in water for some time. Head swollen, and something took a few bites out of it. Something in the throat. A pouch, bulging with coins.
Read.
Nilfgaardian florins, from several different provinces. If the murderer did this, means we're dealing with a sentient thinking beast. Body was chopped up after death. Blows struck with great force, but bones sliced through, not crushed. Creature that killed him had long claws, sharp as a witcher's blade. First sank its claws into the victim's heart. No Bruxa did this.
Nope. It was
Third
not
hand.
a Bruxa.
A spare? Except it's clearly not the victim's. Guardsmen must have not noticed it as they picked everything up. How's this possible? Still warm. Blood still flowing? Several monster species can regenerate. Never heard of that happening to their severed limbs, though. Or of their limbs seeming completely alive after so much time. Examine the tissue more closely later. Might learn something.
He's just gonna carry around a hand in his back pocket.
So, murderer was clearly a monster, but not a Bruxa. But then why'd the Bruxa come here for the severed hand? And who does the hand belong to? Why the hell's it still warm? Now, pouch shoved down the victim's throat. What's the significance? And why was he chopped up into pieces? Lots of questions, no answers so far. Need to know about the other victims. I'll ask Palmerin to get me in to see the Duchess.
Well, that was a long night, or a short night, whatever. Locked key require. I'll get the key later. This will be my own player housing eventually. I'll be able to fix the place up nice. So, where the fuck is that horse? This is a really colorful zone. More saturated. Definitely not as muted as Velen or Skellige. Yeah, I wasn't sure when I bought this game if it was going to be the kind of game that I would like. I am so glad that I bought it. So incredibly glad that I bought it. So good.
Need to speak to the Duchess, urgently.
All right, you scamps. Story's done. Go find your parents.
But Sir Palmerin, what about the story of Riddick and the dragon?
A tale's for another time. But take a good look at the man who stands before you now. This is Geralt of Rivia, the master witcher who lent his valiant hand to the defeat of the giant Goliath.
Master Witcher, is it true virtue always trumps villainy?
Not always, but it's worth it.
Not always. Could go either way. Sometimes virtue wins, sometimes villainy gets the upper hand. Still worth being good.
But why? If it doesn't mean you'll win.
Palmerin's story. Think back. A decent man attracts other good folk, makes friends he can count on. A rogue? Well, he can only count on other rogues. And who would you rather have for a friend?
A man of virtue?
I must agree. Now, that will do for questions. Go find your parents. Her Knight and Highness has doubtless arrived at the tourney grounds to watch the battle in the arena. If we hurry, we'll be in time to speak with her before the spectacle begins.
Lead the way. Who's fighting? Nilfgaardian gladiators?
Close, but not quite. As you'll soon see.
Someone's gonna fight a Shaelmar with only some bells on its tail to confuse it, slow it down?
Whatever is the problem? The beast is a gift from the Emperor, no less.
This is dangerous. Bells on its tail aren't enough.
I saw a festival of the sword of the arena in Nuremberg. There, a knight defeated a Shaelmar with bells on its tail.
Might have gotten lucky. Shaelmar might have been lame. Who knows? Only a Witcher has a real chance against a healthy Shaelmar. And that's not even every Witcher. Besides which, releasing a monster that dangerous in front of a crowd, plain irresponsible. Who's going to fight the beast?
Guillaume, the young man you met.
Yeah. Mentioned he'd promised his heart's capture a monster trophy.
Great love demands great sacrifices.
Let's go.
The story of Guillaume and the woman he loves is an interesting side story.
I dedicate my imminent victory to fair Lady Vivian.
It's begun. The fight shall have to end first. We must wait.
I don't remember what type of monster this is.
Got a bad feeling about this. Damn it. We have to help him.
I think it's an elemental. I'm not sure though. I'm still gonna go with elemental oil. Because I don't have it in the bestiary, and it's been so long since I've done this that I don't remember. But
gotta keep it down.
Alas, the lightning, the beast heaved our girth, let loose a roar and struck it down. Then down came the Witcher in 190 pounds to give fight to the beast. Stands confound!
Not bad.
The Witcher waited till the time was up, then twirled the gun and ran. was defeated by Geralt of Rivia, master of the witchering trade. Behold, as the last gasps of life seep from the beast.
Master Geralt, do what you must. Finish the deed!
It suffered enough.
Not only that, it's a threat to everyone else.
The monster lies slain! The fight is done! Praised be the victors!
Guillaume. The lad came damned close to dying.
I'm fine. Not hurt at all. Vivian?
Smile as befits a hero and keep silent. Speech clearly pains you. She approaches.
Geralt. We must talk. Vivian.
You shall talk later, in the medic's tent.
Geralt, magnificent, breathtaking.
Your Grace.
We knew that to summon you was a brilliant idea. We are delighted, ravished to have struck upon it.
And I'm truly honored.
See to our young hero. Hop, hop. For we must make off with Geralt. We should talk. We had been long awaiting your arrival. Had nearly lost hope. Then suddenly, that entrance, so spectacular.
Your Grace. Shaelmars are dangerous creatures, even to knights in full plate armor.
Nonsense. In Toussaint, knights have battled beasts for mere glory since time immemorial. True. Guillaume suffered a few bumps, scars, and bruises, but in return gained eternal glory as he who slew the monster.
What about the crowd? Say the Shaelmar had vaulted into the stands. Would have been a massacre.
Geralt, though we value your fortuitous intervention in the arena, we would remind you your services have been retained, and as shall soon become clear, you will be generously compensated for completing another task altogether.
Your Grace, my contract. I'd like to discuss it.
Naturally, but not here. We shall need Damien. He led the investigation pending your arrival. But whatever could he be? Come, we must find him.
I'm seeing some dithering in the texture, and it's really bugging me for some reason. Like, the lighting is not as good as it could be.
Tell us, have you
and
come
the texture
alone?
work is beautiful in this game.
Or did Viscount Julian accompany you?
Wish to see Dandelion, Your Grace?
Yes. I mean, no. Yes. But solely to tell him we regret. Yes, deeply regret rescinding the death sentence we so justly handed down upon him. If we could turn
She
back
definitely
time,
has history with
we would make
Dandelion.
certain he sat in a tower till he rotted. No, we would ensure he was broken on the wheel, then drawn, hanged, and quartered.
Yeah, I think
very
Dandelion
man we
was
would
being
entrust with these
Dandelion with her.
tasks. Damien de la Tour, captain of my personal guard.
Your Grace. Witcher.
Greetings. Sorry to have to tell you, but the guardsman handling the last victim's body...
I know already. The creature in the cellar of Corvo Bianco. Was it the beast?
No. A Bruxa, a kind of vampire. Not the beast, but tied to it in some way.
You know this how?
Through careful analysis of the evidence, both on the riverbank and at Corvo Bianco.
Do you mean to insinuate the investigation thus far has been sloppy?
Geralt insinuates nothing of the sort. We must listen to him attentively.
I examined the body of the beast's last victim. Might have found something. Need to analyze it. A quiet place, that's what I could use most right now. And maybe the help of an alchemist or a mage. Also like to hear all you know about the previous victims. Take it Sir Delatour is my man for that.
Firstly, call me Damien, please. Secondly, you should know I spoke against summoning you here. I've heard much about you. You bring trouble, or thus far have, always. And we've enough trouble as it is. Yet we are capable of defeating the beast on our own, without an outsider's help. I've no doubt about it.
Damien, we settled the matter of the Witcher's employ some time past. Definitively. Since you have broached it nonetheless, let us discuss Geralt's pay. Are the legends true? Do Witchers usually demand that which you find at home, yet did not expect?
Not quite, Your Grace. Law of surprise, it's something we invoke at times, but rarely. Usually we just take gold.
Disappointing. This law sounds rather romantic. On the other hand, on returning to the palace, we would likely find impatient petitioners or a set of sample fabrics for a new dress. Poor rewards, both. I fear you'd not have much use for any of the surprises we are likely to come upon. Thus, we've decided you shall receive the deed to a vineyard, Corvo Bianco, and a sum of coin. You will doubtless consider this adequate. Title to the vineyard shall be given to you at once. Surely you'll need lodgings while you hunt. The coin, however, will be yours only once you have slain the beast.
Lovely,
and there's the key to that locked door.
Corvo Bianco. Isn't it the Duchy's temporary morgue?
Is it now? The Chancellery's bungled things again, we fear. Not to be left unsupervised for one instant. Yet, in its mood, a morgue should present minimal problems to a Witcher. What's more, nothing enhances a wine's reputation better than a grim legend.
Thank you, Your Grace. I accept the contract, of course. But as I said before, I'll need some information. How'd it start? Who was the first victim?
Crespi was the first to die. He was famed once for his many glorious tournament victories. Then he grew old, hung up his sword, and took to winemaking.
Crespi was not loved by the wine merchants. He was ruthless in business and thought to cheat many a time. He asked us for a dispensation from all court ceremonies. We did not grant it. We could not. Once you've taken the oath of a knight, you remain a knight till death.
How'd he die? Where'd they find the body?
Quite unusual, the circumstance. He was at a feast when suddenly one of his fellow feastgoers noticed he was missing. The town watch found him an hour later. On his hands and knees, propped against the town pillory, his sword hanging from his neck. He had died of wounds inflicted with claws, not a weapon. Blows of great force.
So he died suddenly, but the body was on its knees, meaning someone posed it.
So it seems.
Second murder. Tell me what you know.
In the city there are certain nooks. No one reasonable ventures there after dark. Ramon Dulac's corpse was found in one such place. With the first murder, terror gripped the city. Its inhabitants grew wary, kept to safe areas. Consequently, news of the second victim came to us from a group of concerned cut-purses.
Criminals fear the beast? Telling in a way. Take it you've excluded the possibility that Ramon died at the hands of these bandits.
Do you believe me an amateur? Not hands, but claws killed Ramon Dulac. The wound was deep, clean.
His body was found in a gutter, dressed in nightshirt and cap, a pillow placed under his head, and his sword replaced by a bed warmer. Ramon Dulac, a knight who but a dozen years past was an advisor to our father, the Duke.
Someone went to a lot of trouble to make him look ridiculous. Maybe revenge was the motive.
It's not out of the question.
Yeah, I think
revenge
revenge
with the
was
criminal
the motive.
underworld. But no one ever came forth with concrete proof of any misdoings.
So, first two victims were knights, best years behind them.
The same could be said of the third. Sir Delacroix was wont to claim that in modern times knights face new challenges, enterprise being the latest addition to the chivalric virtues.
He made a veritable fortune in the grain trade. Halmarin even nicknamed him Sir de la Stinchi.
Found a coin pouch on his body. Contained florins dating from various times, hailing from different provinces of the Empire.
Delacroix loved coin, true, but had no patience for numismatics.
Lots of similarities between the victims. All the bodies were found in strange places under extraordinary circumstances. Seems the murderer, whoever or whatever it is, has some meaning to convey.
These were honorable men.
Yes, the murderer does.
Horrified by the disdain, the disrespect with which they were treated. These were knights of Toussaint. Blast it.
Might be the point. From what you say, none was a model of virtue. Ever considered that's what the beast's trying to draw attention to?
All the murdered men were knights who swore fealty to the 5 chivalric virtues. And even if the...
Knights of Toussaint swear fealty to what virtues exactly?
Honor, wisdom, generosity, valor and compassion.
5 virtues. Why are they so important to your knights?
Strange question.
Your Grace, forgive me. I'm a foreigner trying to understand another land's customs.
You are forgiven. According to legend, the virtues we cultivate were bestowed upon us by the Lady of the Lake. How we truly came to espouse them, none remember. In Toussaint, we believe men of low birth should be simple-hearted and obedient. We expect much more, however, of our knights. They are to be soldiers and courtiers, lords and servants. Thus, the need for clear moral guidelines. At the time of his dubbing, a knight vows to demonstrate throughout his life honor, wisdom, generosity, valor, and compassion.
Beast seems to be pointing up moral decay, denouncing it. Victims were all humiliated. Might have been murdered to emphasize their lack of specific chivalric virtues.
Honor compromised by the pillory. Wisdom by ridicule. Generosity by a coin pouch shoved down a throat. It seems to fit, true, though not perfectly.
Can't discount the theory if it's on the lips of everyone in town. Say our reasoning's right. Next murder will be just as showy and denounce the victim's lack of the 4th virtue, valor. We can also assume that victim will be an elder knight.
Let's think. At the moment, all the knights are either at the tourney grounds or in the palace gardens. Our annual hare hunt shall begin there shortly. Have you heard of the custom?
Milton mentioned something. Seemed excited to prance around in a bunny costume. Not sure why. Hang on. Strange circumstances. A knight advanced in years. The famed cowardice of rabbits.
Could it be that simple? Is Milton de Peyrac-Peyren the next victim?
Milton also knew Delacroix. Told me so down by the river.
Damien! To miss something so obvious. De Peyrac-Peyren, Crespi, Delacroix, and Delac formed a knightly team. It was years ago, but...
They were a team?
They were close friends, tightly knit, and as such earned the trust of our father, the Duke.
That's an important point.
Witnessed him turn to them.
Keep that in mind if you watch future streams involving
diverged.
like the story of
Unlikely to be a
this
coincidence.
expansion.
Beast must know it too. It's a lead, I'm sure. Your Grace, we need to find Milton immediately.
Rather problematic. You see, the garden entertainments are due to start, and he's disguised as the hare, hiding somewhere, waiting for some tipsy courtiers to find him. The hare's hiding place is a carefully guarded secret.
We must call off the game, at once.
First and foremost, we must remain calm. Damien, order the garden searched immediately, but discreetly. By no means can we disrupt the festivities. Panic will only incite the beast to strike sooner. And you, Witcher, follow me. My gardens, my night, I shall take the fall. A murder is out of the question. I will not allow it. Not near my palace. Horses? Ready our horses! Your Grace!
And of course Geralt has to take a peek. And you blame him.
What the hell? Why, I should... Your Highness, I...
Mind it doesn't get wrinkled. Onward!
Hey! That is silk! Be careful! Give it to me!
Faster. Your Grace seems right at home in a saddle.
Clear the path! Clear the way, I said!
Is this part of the game?
It's here! Just round the corner!
Hurry!
We must go to where the game is being held. The participants must find a unicorn.
I want to see something here. Where are Shalmars? Are they an Elementa? No, I was wrong on that. They're a relic. Now we know that they're a relic. I had a feeling that they were not elementals.
Fish and the phoenix egg. With these in hand, they can deduce where the hare, Milton, hides.
Mean we need to find those things too?
We've no other option, but time is of the essence, so we shall have to break the rules. Scars. Good games. I shivered just now. On second thought, through here. I shall show you where the hunt plays out. Then we will split up. You will get hold of the unicorn horn and the golden fish. While I nab the phoenix egg. That will be quickest.
Golden fish. Do I need a rod or a net?
Please, Geralt. It's not a real fish. Look there, towards the water. See the lights? The hunters are trying to hook the fish from boats. You must simply dive in and find it.
The unicorn. How do I catch it?
It's terribly skittish, true, but I'm sure you will find a way to earn its trust.
Axie.
Turns round, over there, look. The golden fish and the horn both contain things or clues that will help us find Milton. Once you have fish and horn, find me among the other phoenix egg hunters. All clear? Then let's get to it.
Oh, this way.
What is they call you? Geralt.
Fiorano of the 1290 League.
Ow!
I do encourage you to drive.
Keep calm. Start no bros.
Ah! Unicorns are thought to like music.
Perhaps an apple will work. Or some sweets.
We would not be in this predicament, dear sister, were you still a virgin.
Do you really wish to have this conversation again? Here and now?
Hush, or you'll spook the beast. We shall try the sweets.
Hey folks, gonna have to ruin your fun. Sorry.
Who's that?
Come on, stay calm. Shh, calm down. Easy now.
Well, that's hardly fair.
Flagrant cheating is what it is. Sirs, we must teach this scamp some proper sportsmanship.
Listen, I didn't break any rules.
True. He won fair and square.
We were unlucky, that's all. We must
Don't want
try
to fight in
grab
the middle of
next
this.
clue.
We're trying to be discreet. The delusion skill is exceedingly useful in situations like that.
Unworthy. Entirely inappropriate behavior.
A complete collapse of social norms.
Golden fish should be easy to spot. I'm under.
What the...
That one looks more golden. Oh hey, I have candy now.
Hey, wait. Stop. It's important.
King Cormorant, sire, accept this offering we bring. Prithee cast upon us your merciful eye, and bear before us its secrets.
As the moon is heavily coursed of trace, in my domain I await that moment of grace, when a soul of good or ill repute brings me a gift, fitting tribute.
A key.
Why, you unwatched wretch!
He's ruined the game!
Disgraceful.
You know what? I'm going to use the controller for a bit,
My brother gave me a sword.
since I'm not going to need to go into combat.
Precisely is that?
An abstract work, gentlemen. The future of...
I don't like combat with a controller, but for normal navigation throughout the game, it's pretty easy and convenient. I don't have to. It's easier than holding down the W button for days.
Long live Toussaint!
But your grace.
No bats.
Oh!
If you please, Your Grace.
We do not please. We act out of the highest necessity, or shall be explained later.
But it's against the rules.
I am the rules. Geralt! At last.
Got a key and a clue.
And I've another. Show me yours. Who wrote this drivel? I begin like a groan, hollowed out with ease, then end like a mouse, with a head of hard cheese.
Begin like a ground, hollowed out with ease, and like a mouse with a head of hard cheese. Very clearly a riddle of some sort. In a cave. Let's just go with a cave.
Rooms, hollows. Could be a cave.
I might be wrong. I actually don't remember the answer.
Look, if we take row, hollow it out and fill it with ease. The letters, that is. We get green. Then mouse, but starting with what heads heart cheese. Why, it's greenhouse.
Pretty clever. And it sounds right to me.
Yeah, I totally didn't do that riddle.
But only one with a door that locks, and the key to it looks just like the one we found.
Greenhouse it is then. Let's go.
I was thinking groan is like an earthquake or like water or something like that hollowing out of a cave.
Wait here.
What the butch?
What was that?
Nothing beats the agility of a Witcher. Let's turn off the controller.
I'm here.
This belonged to you, maybe?
It did, but you may keep it. I've a new one. I do not know you. I've done you no harm. Yet first you butchered a Bruxa who was dear to me. Now you pursue me. Why?
You've killed 4 innocent people, at least.
And you? How many innocents have you cut down?
Not here to talk about me.
Yet that is exactly what we are doing. So, did they send you after me? Who are they?
What do you mean, they? Duchess hired me. You've been murdering her subjects.
Is it as simple as that? I would ask you to convey to the Duchess that I've but one victim left, but...
2, actually.
You'll not get the chance.
No, it is 1 victim. That was the 4th one. Alright, so... Moon Dust. And Northern Wind. We have Vampire... No, we have Elementals. So... Vampire Oil. We are going to take a Black Blood.
Kill again.
Ow. Just had to get a combo in.
You were to stay where you were. Regenerate.
I know you're in trouble. I can help.
I'll help myself.
No, he's my friend.
Yes, Geralt, it's me.
Regis? You alright?
All is well. All's in order. Wounds such as these...
I like Regis. He's a really, really cool character.
But we've not seen one another in ages, my friend. At least in human terms, that is.
Hey, Epiphany. Sorry, I didn't see your message. I didn't hear it for some reason.
I was a bubbling, shapeless smear, having been rather spectacularly melted into a column of a certain castle. In somewhat better shape now, as you can see. Hardly peak form, mind you, but were I human, folk would think me a demigod, I dare say.
I'm sorry. What happened? It was my fault. Never got a chance to apologize.
No need, Geralt. Bygones. I did not have to join you on that expedition. No one twisted my arm.
I like Regis. He's a really good character.
Miraculous regeneration.
It's going well. I decided to play some Witcher 3.
I had help. From the one you hunt.
Him? How? And what have you been doing all these years?
Not the time nor place for such stories. I suspect we'll get a chance to speak at ease and at length later. Now, however, we must deal with the reason that brought us both here.
So you being here, it's no coincidence?
Your powers of deduction seem to have waned not one bit. I'm happy. I came here for Dettlaff. I fear he's become entangled, landed himself in serious trouble.
So that's his name. He's your friend?
You might call it that. Though Dettlaff is... how would you humans put it? More bestial than I am. But not to worry. I'm working on him.
Haven't exactly done a great job with that. He's killed one knight since I got here. At least 3 others before I arrived.
For good reason, I'm sure. Understand, Dettlaff is not some decadent shit who kills for sport, or to assuage a dryness of throat or a dullness of mood.
So in your opinion, what are his reasons?
Precisely what I wish to find out. And then I will convince him of the error of his ways.
Got a lot of faith in the guy.
Despite appearances to the contrary, you two are quite alike. You've both noble hearts, yet you both are wont to perform ignoble deeds. When circumstances force you to, of course. Remember the year 964?
That was 3 centuries ago.
Blind fear gripped Rivia, Lyria, and Spala. Women and children were dying.
Geralt's not that old.
Mutilated, dismembered corpses.
He's like 150-ish.
Brute of Lyria. Read about it. Chewed up almost 200, then fell to a common poacher supposedly armed with a dagger blessed by some prophet.
It fell to Dettlaff, who then found a poacher asleep in the brush near his snares and dropped the fiend's corpse at his feet. And thus, a legend was born.
Huh. Vampires rarely help humans. Must have had his own agenda, hunting the beast.
You err. He slew it for one reason alone. The monster killed a lad who once in the street had offered Dettlaff an apple, expecting nothing in return.
Terribly noble of him.
You do not have a monopoly on altruism, my friend. Vilgefortz melted my body. Dettlaff found what was left. As per our codex, he had a choice. To leave me where I was, or to care for me and nurture my remains. He chose the latter. Regenerated me at no small expense in his own blood. Do you know what that means to a vampire? The gravity of the endeavor?
Probably same thing it means to a human. You owe him your life.
Much more than that. The act itself made us blood brethren. A bond so strong humans cannot even imagine. Which is why I know something ill is afoot.
Always had an overdeveloped sense of empathy.
Each vampire has a unique talent. One they hone over centuries. It's precisely what renders it so difficult to classify. Dettlaff's trump card is his herd instinct. His tribal propensity. In point of fact, he prefers the company of lesser vampires and shuns that of humans. If he walks among you, killing egregiously, it can only mean something's upset him. Immensely.
Anything specific? Some set of things that'd be likely to set him off?
How should I say this? Dettlaff doesn't understand men, their world, its rules, its conventions. He's naive in a sense. He doesn't comprehend your games, knows not what it means to lie, deceive.
Suggesting he's maladjusted, and venting his rage.
I'm suggesting maladjustment can at times breed conflict. But is it the case this time? I cannot say, but intend to find out.
Gotta find him, before something upsets him even more, and all Beauclair is awash with blood.
Well, we share a cause then, just like the old days.
Not entirely. I mean, when I find him, you know.
I know you've a contract on his head. Yet your true task is to stop the beast killing, not necessarily to kill the beast, am I right?
All in all, sure.
Let us find him. By the time we do, I hope I'll have convinced you Dettlaff is no monster.
Fine, all right already.
He's not.
But
He's a
now,
character that you
evidence
can
is
feel
stacking
some
up
sense of
against him.
empathy for.
Hear that?
The posse. Knights must have tracked me here.
I prefer they not find me here. I've makeshift quarters at Mère Lachaise Long Cemetery. We'll meet there.
See you.
Witcher, we flew here as fast as our courses would carry us. Yet I fear we're late all the same. Pray, where is the beast?
Still investigating. About to inspect this site. Withdraw your men before they trample all over the evidence.
Sirs, we must let the Witcher do his work. Milton's murder cannot go unavenged.
I do love this game. Alright, so... He was lying. There was the only thing to investigate is stuff to loot. Alright, what's up here? Chest. Our way up there? Oh no. Probably not. Probably. Ah! Trouble is just getting Geralt pointing the right way. Oh, never mind. I did not want to jump off the thing. Sometimes the animations get in the way of free character movement. That's one thing that bugs me about, you know, the way The Witcher works. Now I have to swim, like, only to here, apparently. Apparently, there we go. Oh, Geralt. Alright, so let's... I remember having to fight some vampires in this cemetery. Although I'm not sure about that. So let's put some more vampire oil on and some beast oil there and go back to our inventory, to our potions. Take Ancient Lushen decoction, Succubus decoction, Water Hag decoction, and Tawny Hour.
Nothing to see here. Move along.
Oh, wait. I'm not gonna go there right just yet. There's something else I wanted to do. Where am I? Yes, that's where I wanted to go. So through the courtyard and around the far corner.
If you want just right.
She looked at me, all right. Looked right at me.
No, this is not where I wanted to go.
This is Beauclair, and everything's peachy.
Up here is where I wanted to go, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, there's the building. There it is, right there.
Patrolling on an empty stomach.
Alright. Talk to this guy.
Greetings. I hope your search goes well.
Alright.
Would you craft something for me?
Of course.
Actually, let me close this out for a moment. Turn the controller back on.
Farewell.
Good luck on the path.
Okay, now we'll talk
Greetings.
to him.
I hope your search goes well.
Would you craft something for me?
Of course.
Alright, so we need the Grandmaster Legendary Griffin Boots. Aha! Let's do this, the weapons. Grandmaster Legendary Griffin Sword. What am I missing? 2 enriched dimeridium ingots. So let's go back and see if we can make the enriched dimeridium ingots. Rich dimeridium ingot. Rich dimeridium ore. Dimeridium ore or a calcium ore. And we make orichalcum ore. Hey, Joao. It's Joao, right? Let me know if I'm saying that wrong. You know what? Let's just buy all of it. Actually, let's go back down to the steel sword, see what we have here. Rich dimeridium ingot. We could just buy 2 of them. Or whatever. I have the gold, it's not an issue. Let's make the enriched dimeridium plate. So we made the boots, right? So the next thing to make is going to be the chest. Oh, this shopkeeper now has a shit ton of gold. And I have like almost none. Well, I have like... I've spent about half my gold. If you buy the components, it's really freaking expensive to make this armor. But I won't be making much more in the way of armor, so... So it's not really that big of a deal. I'll get all that gold back once I'm done with crafting. I'll just sell all my crafting materials, and there's a shit ton of gold in that. So, gauntlets. We have gauntlets next. What are we missing? One enriched dimeridium ingot, which I think we can actually make those. Yep. Go back to the gauntlets. And we have the trousers left, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, and we can make those. Bam! Shazam! Repair. Repair equipped. We'll go and shop. We're gonna sell some stuff now. We're going to sell that, and that, and that, and that. Now let's look at our gear. See how we're doing. We should have the set bonus now. Why doesn't it have the enchantment? The old one did. Oh, for fuck's sake. I guess the enchantments don't stick. Okay, so I have to go back to re-enchant it. Yeah, I guess we'll go do that. So let's head back to the enchantment guy. First, we have to find a stash.
The guard brings peace to our domains. Flout its writ, rot in chains.
So first, we're gonna go back to Novigrad, sort of, I guess. There's a stash there. We're gonna go here so we can go to our stash.
Geralt had to face Eredin, but could only hope to beat him with the help.
Yeah, it's the Griffin Witcher gear set. The set bonuses are really good. They're really good. I'll show them to you in just a moment once the loading screen is done.
Began to lay plans of his own.
So where do you hail from, Joao? Alright, so here's what the Witcher gear set comprises. The set bonus, the 3-piece, after using stamina to cast a sign in its standard mode, the next sign cast within 3 seconds will be cast in standard mode without using stamina. So for example, when you know a monster is about to attack, you can pop a Quinn shield and then do an offensive, like say Igni or Ard or something. And the second one is the size of Yrden traps increased by 40%. While you're within the trap, stamina regeneration is increased by 5 per second, and sign intensity by 100%, and the damage you take is reduced by 20. That's some good shit. I don't really use the 6-piece as much, so if I find better gear, I might end up breaking the 6 set. But the 3-piece bonus I use heavily. Brazil. I had a feeling you were from Brazil. That sounds like a very Brazilian name. Very Portuguese. So let's go to our stash.
Where you going? He's a copper.
So we'll go up here. We're going to go to our stash, and we are going to get all of our runes. Transfer all of them. Because I don't remember how many you need or what ones you need to make the enchantments. I'm probably going to spend a decent amount of gold with this as well, so... It is what it is. Alright, so now we're going to take another fast travel. We're going to go back to the signpost. Alright, so what we're going to do now, go all the way up here to the upper mill. And we are going to go around the back. Can you go in here? No, you can't. I think they just make doors and then lock them and never give you a key for them.
The world's never-ending
For some of
creation
them.
be praised.
Alright.
Craft something for me, would you?
What we're gonna see is we're gonna see Grandmaster Legendary Griffin Sword. I think it's Preservation. Yes. And Grandmaster Legendary Griffin Armor. I can't remember what we preferred. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. I'll have to take the School of the Cat gear, but I might look into doing that at some point. Interesting. That's what I had. So I need 1 Warding, 1 Yrden, and 1 Quen. So... one Quen. Need to see where the warding is. Let's make the one of Quen at the very least. And I think Yrden is another? Yeah. And warding was the third one. I don't think I have the thing for those. Alright, so I need a glyph of warding. Alright, so let's... Alright, Glyph of Warding. So we have one, we need a second Glyph of Warding. We should be able to make a lesser Glyph of Warding. Right there. So we need one of those. I think actually we can make the Glyph of Infusion. I wonder, let me see. Lesser Glyph of Infusion, so can we make one of those? Is there a pattern for it? Ah, fuck it, I'll just buy it. Alright. I'm not sure if I want to use that though, because I usually end up putting in a Quen before I go into combat anyways, just like out of habit I guess, but whatever. Alright. So let's see what we have here.
Thanks. So long.
Now I have to find a grindstone and an armorer's table. First I have to go back and drop this stuff back off in my stash, as well as that sword. Let's put... No, I'm not on skill, I guess, so I don't need to use the horn. Alright, so... go back to Novigrad. Actually, is there a stash in Oxenfurt? I should look at that, because I know where there's a grindstone and an armorer's table near on both of them. Nope. I'll just have to go to the ones in Novigrad. They're a little more spread out, but whatever. Alright, let's go back to our stash.
Duty calls. They hate you too. Mug like that won't get you a copper. Got to be elegant like me.
What style?
I need to sell some other stuff here. Like the candy. And some of this stuff. Actually, let's put the clues and stuff in. Now let's not keep the book there. Interesting. I never really read that, but that's... Alright, whatever. Now let's just go back to Beauclair. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna go back to Beauclair. Back to this gate.
Geralt had to face Eredin, but could only hope to beat him with the help of friends. The Wild Hunt could be defeated with exceptionally powerful magic, so Triss and Yen set out to reconvene the Lodge of Sorceresses. Avallac'h, too, began to lay plans of his own.
So, before we meet Regis, we are going to actually, I believe it opened up a quest to visit Corvo Bianco.
Prepare to witness wonders.
Oh wait, this is not where I wanted to go. I wanted to go up here.
Surfing as patron this year.
If I weren't just a lowly god.
And in the far corner over here, the grindstone, which will now be permanently as long as I keep these items equipped. I'll lose the buff if I unequip the one sword. All right, and in here there should be an armorer's table right there. There we go.
Fair folk, I'm so glad. It's recommended you stay in your
So, let's go into our quest log. Secondary quests. We'll have to do that at some point. Go to Corvo Bianco.
Ow! Ow! He's no hero. That's the
Prepare to witness wonders at the annual chivalric tourney. Surfing as patron this year.
That sounded like they were throwing up. Alright, so let's go up to Corvo Bianco and talk to our Major Domo. We even have our own peasants, isn't that nice?
Welcome home, sir. I am Barnabas Basil Faulty. By order of the Duchess, I shall serve you as Major Domo of Corvo Bianco. I previously served with distinction at the Nibli family manor and in Nazaire with Admiral Rompali, who, as you are certain to know, is an extraordinary, demanding gentleman.
Whoa, Barnabas Basil. One thing you ought to know. I'm not your typical landed gentleman. Truth be told, this is the first real property I've ever owned.
Oh, in that case, you must leave it all to me. I shall organize, see to everything, and whip the house into order. I dare say this place will soon be the most prosperous vineyard around.
Great. Can already see I'm in good hands. Vineyard comes across as a place with a rich history. Know who owned it before me?
Baron Rossel, who went bankrupt, forcing him to sell the estate to the Duchess. The Baron, in turn, had purchased it from Monsieur Bolius of the Headsman, a truly colorful man of Ketweni origin.
He was actually a headsman?
No, not him, but his great-great-great-great-grandfather. Indeed. Apparently, he was a common cutpurse who somehow secured for himself the post of ducal headsman in Beauclair, went about his work with an exceptional penchant. They say he chopped off more heads than there are grapevines in the ducal vineyards.
Wow, that sounds like a lot.
He never hesitated, not once. Never sliced unevenly, never botched a job. For his exemplary service, the Duke granted him a title and this estate. Monsieur Boleus, on the other hand, was an engineer in his younger years. Once retired, he settled here and took to producing wine. Sadly, misfortune struck and he lost his sense first of smell, then of taste. Additionally, he could not drink alcohol. His medic forbade it.
Shame that. He gave up making wine?
Not at all. He made even more of it. Began throwing wild balls to which he'd invite friends from far and wide in order to treat them to his wine and delight in the fact that at least someone could enjoy it. It's the sort of man he was, Monsieur Boleus.
Mind giving me a little tour de Corvo Bianco?
Not in the least. Follow me, please. I think it would be practical to begin on the hill. Behold, sir, your estate in all its splendor.
Doesn't look very splendorful right now.
Pretty vast.
Indeed. And now, sir, allow me to show you a handful of interesting details. Follow me, please.
Been a major domo all your life?
Yes, I come from a long line of major domos. My father was a major domo, as was my grandfather before him, as was my great aunt. In fact, she was the one to start the tradition.
Great aunt?
A hard woman. It is said that already as a child, she knew where she was going and went there. When she arrived in Beauclair, she signed on as a chambermaid at one of the vineyards and slowly worked her way up to major domo. She dragged the rest of the family up the same path.
Interesting history.
The servants' quarters. I occupy the green home. With the Duchess's permission, I have hired a full staff. Their salaries to be paid from the ducal treasury.
Nice of her.
Not the most sightly part of the estate, I admit. But I think it's worthwhile for you as master of the domain to know where the help stays.
I could rob the help like that. Because it is, after all, mine.
Baron Rossel ordered the vines in this part of the estate uprooted and olive groves planted in their place. They look beautiful, especially come spring.
Don't look at all bad now, either.
No, not really.
I work up to my chin and I've caught some rot.
Down below lies your vineyard, where we grow a strain of Carfanere, one of the world's oldest. Aged in oak barrels, it provides for an exquisite wine with distinct blackberry, wild cherry, plum, and cinnamon notes. Marvelous.
Have to try it one of these days.
The more you beat them, the better they are!
Me, oh my!
Nice well. Picturesque.
Yes, though it ran dry long ago. During the raucous feasts Master Boleus held, he would order it filled with wine. There's a tale about a guest attending a Boleus bull for the first time and thus unaware of the custom. He had suffered great heartbreak and had decided to end his life by jumping into the well. The festivities were coming to a close, and the well was nearly empty when the suicidal guest finally jumped. Instead of killing himself, he merely broke his legs. To numb the pain, he drank the wine.
Drank himself to death?
Not at all. When found the next day, he had concluded he'd witnessed twin miracles. The water had been changed into wine, and he had survived. He retired to a monastery in the Dragon Mountains and began preaching the wisdoms of Lebioda.
That's an interesting story.
You smell that? Those are the vapors of Tucson.
Monsieur Boleus, his wife Nina, kept a garden here. A supremely lovely place it was.
Bit neglected now.
I agree. Yet nothing stands in the way of restoring it to its former glory, and once again planting it with herbs and other vegetation. Madame Nina planted diminutive, delicate flowers and herbs here. One might say their aroma still hangs in the air.
You're quite the romantic, Barnabas Basil.
You smell that? Those are the vapors of Tucson.
Cheap shenanigans. I can't see a thing through these cataracts.
This served as an additional wine cellar in years of plentiful harvests.
Bit of work and it'll make a fine stable for Roach.
Just stick to work is the cake we done, Sentry.
The book of lust is hard and dead. No one can grip the dead. The cellars, voila. During Monsieur Boleus's time, wine was kept here, but Baron Rossel used it to store olive oil as well. I took the liberty of cleaning up the mess, which
I made while fighting the Bruxa. Thanks, Barnabas Basil. Appreciate it.
Cheap shenanigans. I can't see a thing through these cataracts.
You know, the motion blur is really good in this game. Not as good as Doom, but it's good nonetheless.
as you can see,
Speaking
the
of Doom, I gotta
facade
finish
is,
that.
to put it, slightly stained. But one cannot deny it a certain subtle southern charm.
True, though it could use a bit of subtle paint.
And welcome inside.
There is a stash here,
On
by
the
the way.
left is the master bedroom. On the right, the dining hall and kitchen. Upstairs, you shall find the guest room, currently used for storage.
Not a bad idea.
At the moment, the house is only minimally furnished. Yet I believe we will, together, devise some innovative arrangements. A few paintings, for instance, would breathe new life into the abode immediately. With that, sir, you've seen the full lay of the land. Corfo Bianco is a beautiful estate. Though one must admit, time has taken its toll. Forgive me for being forward, but if you were to choose to invest a small sum towards its beautification, consider me at your service on the matter.
Think I'll take you up on that. Be sure to come and see you if I decide to do any remodeling. Mentioned the place could stand to be spruced up.
Oh, most decidedly, sir. The question is where you would like to begin this rejuvenation.
Been thinking about the outer walls. Maybe a fresh coat of paint or some patching.
If I might dare to make a suggestion, why not start with a general renovation? I once oversaw such work at Admiral Rompelli's summer residence. The effects were simply breathtaking. Not only did the residence positively sparkle afterwards, but we also made room to display the Admiral's armor and weapons, of which he was a passionate collector.
It's in your hands then. Make the place shine.
I shall get to work immediately. Within a day's passing, I shall have sent for the crew which rebuffed the Admiral's residence. They are the finest specialists around. Highly skilled at what they do, it shall not take them too long, I wager. 2 days after they begin, your eyes will behold your residence in its refurbished, rejuvenated, beautified state. Is there anything else you require, sir?
Got these spacious grounds. But maybe it's time to make them more... useful.
Oh, yes! We certainly should. The way I see things, given your trade, sir, you would be wise to put in a grindstone and an armorer's table. A good way to start things off, don't you think?
And my mic was muted. Yes, I agree with that.
My armor needs work from time to time. You know, oil this, reinforce that. Could use a decent work table where I could do all that.
Admiral Rompali once hired a specialist who made the finest armorer's tables this side of the Yaruga. I will contact him at once.
Good. Order me up a table like that.
Immediately, sir. I expect it will take at most 1 day to arrive. Will you be needing anything else, sir?
In my trade, my blades get dull pretty quick. Could use a grindstone, professional grade.
Of course. No one would consider that an unnecessary extravagance, I would wager.
Then send out for one, please. A high-quality stone to be set up in the yard.
Of course. I shall send a runner to town at once. I believe you shall be grinding to your heart's content by tomorrow. Will you be needing anything else, sir?
Know what? Changed my mind. Not in the mood to talk about redecoration today. But I wanted to ask you something else.
I shall be glad to answer your every question, sir.
Thanks. Gotta get back to my business now. See you soon.
Right? So, in a couple days, we'll have all that stuff. In the meantime, we're gonna go down to the fast travel marker and go to the cemetery. Okay. Wrong oil. We need insectoid oil. Also, golden oil. I hate these things. I forgot that they explode when they die.
Regis. Couldn't have picked some other place to meet.
Alright. Now the annoying things are finally dead. Let's change our quest to 1. Go up there and loot the one corpse, because you gotta loot everything. Loot all the things. Let's go to the alchemy tab, because like this is where we start getting lots of mutagens. So how are we doing on mutagen? Blue. Alright, so let's go to our one more greater red for that, but I can definitely do that one right now. So we're going to research this one. We're not going to activate it though. It doesn't look bad though if you want to go in for a tanking build. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. That means one more, and I think I should open up a new slot. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that unlocks at the 8th, so I just need one more. Which means I would need 3 more red mutagens? Yeah, 3 more red mutagens.
Regis!
Damn it. Locked. No way I got the place wrong. This is it. Gotta be. Gotta be another way in around here.
Insectoid oil.
Around here. That's some stench. Great.
Way we go, so we're gonna go this way so we can explore some. Guess it's just a roundabout way of going to the same place then. Nope, nothing up there. Let's see what we have over here.
Someone placed an illusion here. Interesting.
Oh, interesting. Let's look at what that is. That doesn't look too bad at all. It's not an upgrade, but it doesn't look bad at all. That. I don't think I found this my first time playing.
Agreed to meet a vampire at a cemetery. How much more cliché can you get?
Nothing comes readily to mind.
Could have left the door unlatched.
What of my privacy? I value it rather deeply. Unmolested, especially by unwanted guests, that's my preferred state. Besides, I knew you'd find a way to get in.
True enough. Need to find your friend. I'm hoping you'll agree to help.
I shall do whatever's in my power. Yet what you want or even need must matter little. What matters is what Dettlaff wants. If he does not wish to be found, you will not find him. Ever. End of story.
Come on. Gotta be some way.
Vampires can evade detection by the senses, and no divination magic works on us. Even the most precise megoscope would be useless.
And this? Could this help?
Wherever did you get that?
Off one of the beast's victims, found by a bend in the river. Body was chopped in pieces. 3 of those pieces were hands. Hand with the ring seemed the odd one out. Abruxa had taken an interest in it.
It's Dettlaff's hand, without a doubt. It will do splendidly.
The hand. What do you plan to do with it?
You've heard of Kovinaris' theory of tissue memory retention.
Rings a distant bell. Read about it in Alchemia Oblitera. There's a copy at Kaer Morhen, tattered, nearly disintegrated. But if memory serves, Kovinaris never managed to prove it worked.
He did prove it, just never managed to publish his findings. He and I corresponded, you see, after we became friends. Thus, I know he completed his research and performed the first tests. It's complicated, so without delving into details, it is possible to use any piece of tissue to reconstruct what a whole body experienced.
How's it work? We need any special equipment?
We must brew a decoction which Kovinaris gave a rather poetic name. Resonance. Once imbibed, it sends one into a trance similar to that induced by narcotics. This triggers visions of events linked to strong emotions experienced by the tissue's owner. Picture it as dreaming a fragment of someone's life.
Any chance we might see what Dettlaff was doing just before he lost his hand?
Indeed. Though I also hope resonance will reveal the location of Dettlaff's hideout.
Ring's pretty intriguing. Made of no metal I've ever seen. And the ornamentation.
Typo
it comes from our home. Where we lived before the conjunction of spheres. It's actually mine. I received it from a dear old friend. You might call him a humanist. He saw us vampires as guests here. Guests who owe their hosts, meaning you humans and the elder races, respect.
Respect? Meaning not to treat us like cattle to be slaughtered for food?
Precisely. And the reason why I, in turn, gave it to Dettlaff. To remind him of the ideals my old friend championed.
Can't you just summon Dettlaff? You're both higher vampires, there's gotta be a way.
If I'm to be entirely candid, there is indeed one. But believe me, we will be better off never availing ourselves of it. It is a last resort. Absolutely.
Last resort? The hell? Why?
There is a being who can summon Dettlaff. Possesses the authority, even the power, to force him to appear in a given place. But the very act of contacting this being, well, it's akin to walking a slack line extended over a chasm filled with molten lava. An exercise as perilous to me as it would be to you. A risk I'm unwilling to take. I beg you, let's do it my way. It will be both quicker and easier.
Covenarius spent half his life proving his theory. Wild guess. Making a dose of resonance won't be easy.
You guessed correctly. In addition to Dettlaff's tissue, we shall need a powerful occipital lobe stimulant. Effectively a poison, to make one susceptible to visions.
Well, got a few ingredients to choose from. Unfortunately, all are pretty rare. There's Mamoon glands, but closest ones I know of are in Vizima. A spotted white saliva would also serve, but they were cold to extinction over a century ago. Could go with a kobold's eyes, but the creatures are sentient. Rather not gouge one's eyes out.
Given that we lack the time to sleuth this out ourselves, permit me to summon some help.
What was that?
A raven? Rather a common sight at this latitude. Very intelligent fowl. I asked him to look for the creatures you mentioned. Him and his brethren. Perhaps they'll find one in the area, and I would hazard that a flock of ravens will spy any said creature faster than a solitary witcher would. With all due respect to your skills, my friend. It will take them some time, nonetheless, so perhaps you'd care for a snifter of mandrake.
Rarely say no to a snifter.
Sadly, this is but a weak infusion rather than a proper distillate.
Even better. I remember your mandrake hooch. Made people say things they'd have rather kept to themselves.
Now, what could Geralt of Rivia prefer to keep to himself?
So, think you've set a nice little trap for me? Sorry. Want to get me to confess? Gonna have to try harder.
I love a challenge. In that case, my ears are cocked. What must I do?
How about you get the ball rolling? Reveal one of your secrets. Vampires, intriguing creatures, must lead fascinating lives.
Anything in particular interest you?
Gotta ask you the big question. One everyone wonders about. What happens after death?
You wish me to tell you if the human belief in the gods is well founded? Well, that I do not know. We vampires differ exceedingly from you humans. Our matter, that of which we are composed, can exist without form. We require neither a heart, nor a brain, nor air to breathe.
But were you dead?
As humans understand death, yes.
Feel anything? Understand anything?
It's rather hard to explain. I felt something very unsettling. Something I cannot even name, for I did no reasoning. Only after rebirth did I begin to understand that what I had felt was cold and unimaginable fear. If not for Dettlaff, I might have drowned in an eternity of icy terror.
have been alive then. Sheesh, experience like that must be vicious.
Indeed, it's hard to compare to anything I know. Yet you are aware we don't see death as you do. The way you cling to life, we find it entirely peculiar. You are mortals, ergo it's a foregone conclusion. You will die. It's but a question of time. Thus, I often find myself wondering why you try so very hard. To die at 20 years, 40, even 100, what's the difference? They're all but the blink of an eye.
Depends on your point of view. Man who's got 1,000,000 crowns to spend can't possibly understand one who's only got 20.
Very true. One's outlook can indeed change much.
That's rather profound.
Got a new life, new body. That give you a new start, blank slate?
Starting all anew is a very broad concept. What exactly do you mean?
Your blood addiction, say. Wondering if your body's the same, if it still remembers. Maybe if you drank now, you wouldn't get hooked.
All addictions are a form of slavery. Re-addiction's not a risk I'm willing to take, just to test a hypothesis about corporeal regeneration and whether propensities carry over.
Fair enough. Curiosity, that's all. Sorry.
Not to worry, Geralt. Curiosity is a natural reaction under the circumstances, apart from which I've always valued that trait in you.
Always fascinated me the way vampires can regenerate. A hand growing back is one thing, but Detloff recreating you out of a wet smear? Something else entirely.
A difficult and laborious process, but one that's possible, as my presence proves. But I've heard you too had quite the adventure. They say you lost your memory.
For a bit, but Triss helped me get it back. Actually, pretty damn lucky I only had amnesia.
Yes, you humans are rather buggered in those terms. To strip you of life is, well, it's just plain easy. I've always pitied you in that regard. We vampires are much harder nuts to crack. If a member of another race kills one of us, we can be reborn with a living higher vampire's help. However, if one of our own strikes the deadly blow, death is permanent. There can be no rebirth. One of the chief reasons why vampires long ago swore never to fight one another.
All right, give you one question. What do you want to know?
One question to ask one as fascinating as you, Geralt. Cruel parsimony, I'd say, but I shall do my best to make it count. If you were to die and be reborn as I was, in your new life, would you choose to be a Witcher?
That's what interests you most? Whether I'd like to be a Witcher again?
Many things interest me, but we've not much time left. Please answer.
I'm just curious what he'd say. I don't remember what I picked the first time I played.
Never chose to be a Witcher. Fate chose for me. Had it been my choice, I'd have picked a different profession. A profession where I wouldn't have to risk my life every minute of every day. Maybe even one that had earned me some respect.
Thank you for being honest. Honesty is an attribute of the truly brave, and thus a privilege of the very few.
Still no sign of your winged friend. Sure it understood what you wanted?
Dead certain. Let's wait a bit longer. It'll return soon, don't doubt that for a moment. Ever vigilant, even in his sleep. Quite vampire-like, in fact. Are you absolutely certain they don't administer a few of our genes during the trial of the grasses?
Far as I know, none. Now what you got for me?
You were right. No kobolds or mamoons for miles around.
Knew it.
Allow me to finish. You see, there's this spotted white. It haunts an abandoned residence in the Caraberta woods.
Impossible. My brethren hunted down every last spotted white before I was born.
Then it seems you must revise your knowledge of spotted whites. For somehow this one managed to survive your brethren's onslaught. It seems I know this home it haunts. Recall a tale about it. Locals believe the place cursed. Perhaps that's how the White survived entirely unmolested.
Whites rarely appear in the woods, even less likely to find them in abandoned human homes. They inhabit remote wildernesses, old abandoned cemeteries.
What's your point?
This might not be a spotted white after all. Your little helper might have made a mistake.
I sincerely doubt it. Ravens are devilishly intelligent creatures, and they've highly developed observational skills.
What exactly did they observe?
The area around the estate. It's covered in spoons.
Spoons?
Spare me the skeptical smile. I'm but the bearer of this news. Or perhaps this spotted white is a hoarder. Or the spoons are somehow related to the curse.
Know anything else about this curse?
I don't recall much in particular. Really don't attach much importance to such things. It was mentioned to me as an anecdote, no more.
Come on, search your memory. Something, anything could be important.
I believe it had a relation to hunger, or, perhaps greed, rapacity. Someone was punished for something...
Textbook definition of a curse, pretty much.
Sorry, Geralt, I try not to clutter my mind with the details of every far-fetched tale I happen to hear. What are your thoughts?
A specimen of a species thought long extinct, and a curse, in one place. That a coincidence, or are they related?
Ah, professional curiosity. Personally, I've nothing against you delving into this dilemma, but please remember we need the White's saliva. Nothing beyond that.
Let's do this. Start making your decoction while I go get some saliva from that White. Uses it in its brews.
Do you imagine the White will simply sell you some?
Worst case scenario, I'll bring you its salivary glands. They ought to do as well.
For a moment there, I imagined you asking the White to spit into a vial. Quite amusing as a thought, but the salivary glands will do fine indeed.
So, see you later.
Yes, till later. I shall start by perusing some tomes.
Tomes? Thought you were gonna make this decoction.
We require one last ingredient. Alas, obtaining it could prove a trifle toilsome. Thus, I hope to identify a suitable alternative.
All right. Good luck.
And to you, my friend.
I'm starting to get tired. I think I am actually going to end the stream here because I am kind of tired. But I'm also going... Well, let's read the bestiary first. About spotted whites. Archaeospores are not insectoids, they're cursed ones? Interesting. I did not know that. Alright, well, I am going to end the stream. I'm going to actually save it right here. End the stream. Alright, I thank everyone for stopping by, and I hope to see you next time. And you guys have a wonderful day. I am going to call it for a night. See you later.